And hello and welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 128. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. So this week, we got Chad, Tony, and Rob in the house. How's it going, guys?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Going nice.
Sweet. TJ's probably mowing his lawn because he cares more about his grass than the listeners.
Oh, we know that. We'll forgive him, maybe.
You sure he's not from Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll forgive him for that. So anyway, what did everyone do in guns this week? Starting with Chad.
Oh, you get to start with me. Let's see. I loaded some 9mm because I wanted to get it loaded before my tiny table. I switch presses to load some 243 ammo. So I have a square deal that I load pistol on, and then my bench is small, so I switch to my single stage for rifles and have to pull 2 bolts and bolt the new one on. But, so I did that so that's done. Carried, got some stuff in for review that I got to put through paces. I got a belt. I'm wearing it, so I'm not going to show you. And I got this, I don't know if you can see it, this 1-to-6 power Lucid scope in for review. It's got an illuminated reticle. It's pretty cool. It's got it's got a throw lever on it. You can take it on or off. And then kind of one neat thing about it is I'll just show you now, even though when I do finally review it, the turrets lock in place unless you pull them up, and then you can adjust them, and then you push them back down and they lock back in place, which is pretty cool.
Is that anodized receivers?
No, those are painted.
Oh, they look pretty shiny.
It's chipping, but I didn't really care. You can see like the mag well, it's got some chips on it.
Oh, so just rattle can?
It's rattle can because I can change it when I want.
Because you're class?
Yeah, it's got class. No, I actually did that because I wanted to see if I did want it anodized or if I wanted to actually have it Cerakoted or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's, to see if I liked it. It's one of those things, $3 can of spray paint and some brake clean can tell you if you like it or not.
Yep. What about you, Rob?
Well, I took the week off, so I did a staycation at the house, and rather than doing what I was supposed to do, work on the car, fix the house, clean up, whatnot, I spent most of the week at the gun range. So I had a great week off, and then Saturday I capped it off with a intro to long-range shooting class, which was put on by a current Army sniper, and it was a great class. We did the shooting on basically a cow pasture that was very dusty and windy, and that kind of was not fun because there was dirt and crap flying all over the place, and I'm cleaning crap out of my Remington 700 where I didn't even know dirt could get. But yeah, that was a great class, a great time. I had a freaking awesome week last week, and then I had to go back to work on Monday, so I'm really depressed right now.
What about you, big guy?
Woohoo! Second Is for Everyone event was Thursday, so that was great. Big success. A lot of new shooters came out. I was flying around making sure everything was going well at the last shoot on Thursday. It was a lot of fun. I finally got to shoot my 357 with 357 loads. Wait till you see that photo. I'll be posting that on Instagram tomorrow. Let's just, small hint, fireball. Awesome fireball. And then I went out and shot Sunday. Put another 300 to 400 rounds through the SR-22 because I just couldn't stop shooting it. And shot some more 38 and 357 through the 686 because, again, a lot of fun. So, yeah, I had fun this week. It was great.
Nice. Well, I have been preoccupied with work and paying the bills, and also making sure we get some doing the typical wedding thing, which I'm not going to bore you guys with. But tomorrow we're going to go check out the caterers, which means we get to taste food, which means free food. So I'm pretty excited about that. As far as guns goes, I've been swapping handguards. I'm trying to sell some parts. I sold a SIG arm brace and a buffer tube to some guy for $100. So trying to make some extra change before I head off to Pennsylvania at the end of the month, because I have a feeling that might get expensive. Between, I don't know what it costs to cash to shoot people's guns, where they charge you per mag or whatnot. But I gotta get my pew pew on, so I'm gonna have to bring some Benjamins with me. I've got lots of stuff to review. I've been kind of trying out these alien gear holsters, these outside the waistband mod holsters. I've also got a trigger I gotta install on an AR. I've got an anti-rotational pin set that I've never had one of these before, and I always thought it was a good idea to have, because I have some receivers where those pins tend to kind of wobble around. So looking forward to installing that. Just looking for the time for it, which kind of segues into the announcements, because I've been spending most of my time working on Patriot Patch and getting a lot more products added to the website, as well as so Jake can get these things made before the machine gun shoot coming here at the end of the month, or the beginning of April. Wait, no, it is April. Beginning of May. Brain fart. So Patriot Patch, they are the bandwidth sponsor for this podcast. New products that we got added on. I added 3 shirts to the website this week. So we actually have a women's black tank top finally. We've gotten quite a few women wanting us to cater to them a little bit more. So I took our lips design, which is like the female lips biting a bullet, and I turned that into a single color print, and it's on a black tank top, so that's available for pre-order right now. We've also finally got a Patriot t-shirt with our Patriot Patch logo on it in a nice royal blue color, so you can represent our company, and when somebody asks you, hey, where'd you get that awesome patch on your hat or your gear, you can just point at the logo on the shirt. So that's cool. And then we added another one just today, the Banana Mag. So it's got 3 AK-47 magazines. One of them's got a Patriot Patch logo on it, and it's on a yellow shirt. So if yellow is your favorite color, or you like to wear the color yellow, and also show that you're an AK-47 fan, then that shirt's right up your alley. As far as patches go, we've got 4 available for pre-order still right now. All the other latest ones are in stock. So the Mosin Nagant one's in stock, the Vera's in stock, Endless Possibilities, the lower, I Love Guns and Patches, all those patches are available. So there's no wait on those. But pre-orders, we have a new pre-order we added this week. It's Don't Keep Calm patch. So I don't know if most of you are pretty familiar, especially if you browse the internet and Facebook, is keep calm and carry on, or keep calm, and then usually the last part of that phrase gets changed out for whatever reason. So we had the idea of don't keep calm, just kill them all. So it's kind of very completely opposite of what the original keep calm and carry on message was. So this is all about not taking a passive stance toward evil. So you can see on the website we have that. It's more of a vertical patch, because usually that image you see is a little bit more vertical. It's 2 inches by 2 3/4, so it'll still sit fine on like 3-inch patch panels. We've also got the It's Dangerous to Go Alone with the AUG available for pre-order. So if you're a big fan of Die Hard or bullpups in general, you got an AUG on there. And then we got a couple other patches for pre-order. If you want to head over to the website, check that out. We've also still got a deal going with the Gun Collective and John Patton. We've got 2 shirts and 1 patch. We got the Guntrepreneur design, which is basically a tactical Monopoly patch. So that's available. We've got that in a bundle with a shirt patch, the Gun Collective logo shirt, and then also a mystery patch, which is going to be a random Patriot Patch Co. patch thrown in. And all those come with the Gun Collective stickers, so that's kind of an exclusive collaboration with John Patton. So make sure you get on those while supplies last. So that's it for Patriot Patch Co. at the moment. We will be at the Stone Mountain Machine Gun Shoot on April 30th through May 1st. So I'll be there, Jake will be there, some other faces from the Firearms Radio Network will be there, as well as Tony. I know he's going to be there. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Then also after that, May 21st, we have a listener meetup at the NRA show, basically at the Cardinal Hall of Fame Cafe at 7 o'clock that Saturday on the 21st. We're going to have a listener meetup, hang out, have drinks. I guess if you could say ambidextrous as well as Jake Challand, he said he'll buy you your first drink. So I would abuse that as much as you can. Although I'm afraid if you abuse it too much, I might have to walk home, which is a long way from Kentucky to Washington. Other than that, that's about it for the announcements. Let's get right into the product spotlight. First up this week, we have the Suarez International L mount for the Trigicon RMR for Glocks. And we kind of covered a similar product from Strike Industries probably a month or 2 months ago. Basically, this mounts where your backplate would be, and it kind of fits into your dovetail of your rear sight, but it allows you to install a rear sight on the L mount, as well as the Trigicon RMR in front of it. But the unique thing about this is that it's got a front pedestal for a front sight, like 2 inches in front of your rear sight. So it kind of mashes them all together, your co-witness sights and the red dot, all on one little mount. So I guess the idea of this would be that no matter what your front sight is, or if you've got like a compensator or anything like that, you're going to have ability to co-witness sights all in one little mount. And you're going to be able to see a lot of light on both sides of that front post because of the sight radius, which is kind of funny.
You mean that 2-inch sight radius or whatever it is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so you buy a Glock 34 so you get with a 2-inch sight radius.
Yeah.
Though the thing is, the front sight and the rear sight on their little mount are optional.
Yeah.
So
you can choose to have what installed or no sights needed. So for a tritium front sight, that's an extra $50. Fiber optic front sight's an extra $40. A black front sight is an extra $30. And then as far as the rear sight, for a tritium rear sight, it's an extra $80, and a plain black sight is an extra $40. But basically, at the stock price, you're looking at $99. And then whether you choose to use your own sights or have them install them in the mount before they ship it to you, that's going to cost extra.
Yeah, I'm kind of up in the air about that. I mean, if you want to get into this thing on the ground level and just try it out and see if you want to have a Glock MOS, I guess this is one way to do it. To your current Glock. Like I have a Gen 2, so pretty much I'm done. I mean, I'd have to send my slide out to get cut at this point. I don't think anyone has like a Gen 2 slide, if the slide is different from Gen 3's. I'm assuming it is.
Yeah, like Ryan was saying, we did somebody else's
Strike Industries.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think this one sits a little lower. I think Rob might have mentioned something pre-show, but it doesn't look like it sits all that high. So I think that's a good thing on it. It's so, get it without the sights and put the RMR on it and try it out, or, like Tony said, if you think you actually want one milled into your slide or want to buy one of the Glocks already made with it, the slide that way, then yeah, go ahead, try it out.
And I mean, the cool thing about at least what's left of Facebook is you get the red dot you want. You buy it. You buy this for $99. You put it together, and if you get disgusted by it and think I can't really run it and it wasn't really something I liked, at least you can sell a red dot, no problem. I mean, people pick that up at the drop of a hat. You know what I mean?
Well, I would figure you'd keep the red dot and sell the
Oh, sell the
mount.
base? Yeah, mount. You might be right. I wasn't thinking that one all the way through.
Yeah, I keep the red dot.
Yeah, this thing sucks. Here, take this mount.
I can't really find any flaws in it besides the short sight radius.
And the fact that they only have one in stock, so you better get it now.
Which is probably gone if you refresh your thing.
Yeah, they had more in stock when I added it to the show notes, so I apologize for that. But you never know; they might get more in stock all the time. Maybe if you're listening to this at a later date. I do think it looks more attractive than the Strike Industries mount because it just definitely had a lot going on coming out of the back of your back plate there. It is definitely a little bit more lower, but still, if you had your slide, professionally melted for a red dot and tapped, it would sit probably, 1 to 2 millimeters lower.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a huge difference in between the two, really. I think this is probably one of the better ideas out there. And it's funny because I've watched a progression of Suarez with the red dots on the Glock, and they started out selling slides. And now they pretty much got in, hey, throw this thing on. I mean, I think they're just trying to expand their base, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, the advantage you get is you don't have to cut into your slide if you don't want to cut into your slide to put a red dot on it.
Yep.
Yeah. And it says, like at the bottom of one of these articles that are linked, it's at the bottom of the list, L plate. It is the least efficient way to do it, but it can be done this way and reap many of the benefits to these groups. It says police that aren't allowed to change, that are allowed to change their sides, but they can't dovetail, cut out their slide because it's not really their gun. People without the funding to get one of the tier 1 Suarez slides, which are cut out, or like we said, people who want to jump into it without, running into the deep end of the pool, it says, which could be the gene pool for all we know.
Hey, listen, the industry itself has pushed the whole red dot on the pistol thing real hard the last 2 years. I mean, just everyone's been on it. And if you're one of those guys that watch it, sooner or later you go, yeah, maybe I want to check this out and see what's up. And this is a way to do it without really breaking the bank. And if you already have a quality red dot, hey, just throw it on and check it out. Maybe run a class or something like that. Because that's the only way you're going to see if you really like it is to shoot it a lot.
And I wonder, I couldn't find anywhere in the couple of articles we have that if the rear sight on their mount, if you put a suppressor size height front sight, if it would line up or not. Not with their mount, but normal suppressor height Glock front sight or something.
It says that it's the optimal mounting height for suppressors, so I'm wondering if using standard height front and rear sights, being that the mount obviously sits above where they normally would sit, it automatically gives the front and rear suppressor height compatibility.
Right, so if you went to a front suppressor height sight.
Well, I think what Chad's saying is get a suppressor height sight and put it where it would normally go on the front of the slide, as opposed to on the RMR red dot base.
Oh, yeah. So you don't have
it might work.
Increase your sight radius, basally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get your normal sight radius.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd work. And you'd still have the benefit of having a rear sight integrated with your red dot on something that's non-permanent, that fits into your dovetail, that doesn't really exist too much, except for that, like I said, that competitor unit that looked a lot more bulky. So this is definitely a more streamlined variant of it. It's interesting, at the very bottom, they say that the element is far more efficient than the Glock MOS as it secures the red dot far more securely and allows for the use of any sights you wish. So this being driven into your dovetail and then the red dot being screwed down to the plate is more secure than having the red dot screwed down to your slide to begin with.
Well, this mounts the backing plate. They give you a new one of those, and it's threaded. So you slide your dovetail in, slide the backing plate on, and then it screws to the backing plate
So
also.
it's got like 2 points of contact, basically.
Correct. And I wonder if that's why they say it's stronger.
I wonder if it is in fact stronger. But
No, it's them telling you it's stronger because they want you to buy it.
yeah, it sounds like marketing speak to me.
That's totally marketing speak.
But all in all, it's definitely interesting. You know, I tried this once on my Glock 19 using just J-point plates because I had a Redfield Accu. I don't even remember the name of it now. Accelerator. Man, my mind's slipping right now. But I thought it was too tall, so I got rid of it. But you might find different results. It basically is the same thing as this, except it did not screw into the rear plate, and it didn't have a rear and front sight. It was just kind of an extra plate sitting right on top of your side that you dovetailed in. You know, and it came with different compatibility. So I think they do. Let me look back on their website. I think they have this available for other guns other than Glocks, like maybe for 1911s.
Yes.
Pretty sure they do. Yeah, it's a great way to do it if you do not want to get into altering your factory pistol so it doesn't affect the resale value. But I think if it's done well and professionally and you have documentation of who did the machine work to your slide, like Lone Wolf Distributors, I don't think that would really alter your resale value. I just know that some people, especially Lone Wolf, they actually want your red dot in hand because even though they're supposed to be the same across the board, just in case something's out of spec, they don't want to like cut your frame to a generic template and then find out your red dot doesn't fit for some reason. So there's a lot of work that goes into getting your slide melted.
Yeah, I mean, it's machining and everything has to be spec'd on. And if not, then all of a sudden you have a sight that's off, and it's just a sight that's off, you know? So regardless whether it's a red dot or whether it's iron sights, off is off.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we mentioned the MSRP on this, but yeah, it's only about $99.99. It looks like it's on sale right now. I don't know if it's because it's a special introductory price. It looks like it's marked down from $125 basically, so you're saving about 20%. So if you're listening to this at a later date, it might be back up to $125 since it might be past that introductory phase. But all in all, I think it might be an interesting option for some people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's move on to the next product that we're going to talk about this week. Remington, big old green, has got some new 1911s added to their R1 line. So they have their R1, they have their R1 Commander, they have their R1 Enhanced, and now they have their R1 Enhanced Commander, which I didn't think 1911 manufacturers were allowed to use the word Commander in their model name unless they were Colt. I thought Colt owned the rights to Commander.
Oh, they probably lost them in some bankrupt proceeding or something.
Probably.
Yeah, they sold that off.
They needed bus money, so they sold the rights. So it's available in black oxide and stainless. So let's see, the MSRPs for the black oxide is $903. The stainless is $990. But it's basically the enhanced version if you haven't seen it already, but it's shortened to a commander length barrel and slide.
Well, it's really good on Remington taking a gamble like that. The 1911s will sell. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
It might be the only thing they have selling.
it's the only thing they're probably making that's a pistol. It's not like they're making an R51. That boat sailed.
So they got their little 380, little micro.
Yeah.
Are we not talking about that? Okay. Yeah, I've got an R1. That was my first 1911. I gave it to my father because he didn't have any semi-autos at all, and it was he liked it because it was kind of classic, the government style. He never served, but he digs the old school style. If I gave him one of these enhanced numbers, he probably would be a little bit less impressed. But for someone who's just getting into the 1911 markets, and being that I've worked in retail, the 1911 counter is always the most interesting out of all the handgun counters to work with, because some people come looking with an expectation of, I don't want to spend more than $600, which pretty much limits them to, okay, here's the Rock Islands. Some people are looking to get something a little bit nicer, so they're looking at a combination of features. Do I want that kind of skeletonized hammer and trigger? Do I want that fiber optic front sight? Sights are kind of a big deal with 1911s because if it's government, you can't really do a whole lot with it if it's machined into the slide like that. But as far as the R1 is concerned, I haven't shot an enhanced yet, so I can't speak on that. But shooting the classic R1, the first one, not the first one, for the people that are way older than I am, Chad, Tony, not the original Remington 1911, but the newest R1 that came out first just a few years ago. That one shoots pretty good. I like it a lot. It's got a nice tight tolerance. After it's been about 4 years since I've had it, I still need to use the barrel wrench to get the bushing off. Mm-hmm. Whereas my Ruger 1911 Commander, I can just do that with my thumbs. It's still a tight tolerance, but the Remington is the one that's tighter.
Well, I understand that it's probably tighter for you because you have the upper body strength of a woman, you young whippersnapper.
You lift, bro?
Do you even lift? But
yeah, I lift this.
Oh, look at him! Somebody smuggled some alcohol into the nursing home. I really liked. I haven't shot a Commander, but what I do is I get up my tactical founder on anytime I go to a gun store and I see something new. I really have to jump on the 1911s. It gives you a lot of features here, but the crazy thing is these features are pretty much becoming standard at this point. I have no idea. I see the MSRP is in the 900s, but I have no idea what the street price is. But if the street price...
Probably going to be somewhere around 700, a little high north of 700.
Yeah, 750 probably.
Yeah, well, the the Rock Islands, these, and a couple of more companies like Ruger, and even the Smith & Wessons, and what's the other one? Springfield Armory. I mean, a lot of stuff is right around this price point, and it's just right. You're not really getting beat on this, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is the going rate, and if you want one from Big Green, you got it, because there are a lot of people that are fans, and they just want something that says Remington on it. They have the 870 shotgun, they have their 700, and if they can get a 1911, they'll take that too.
Yep.
Yeah, and it looks like a nice Commander length 1911. I mean, and for the price, it's right in there where it probably should be. I mean, they say it has a match grade barrel, which
means nothing.
That's pretty much
four and a quarter inches of match grade accuracy right there.
Uh-huh. I'll go through these. It's got an oversized flared ejection port, which is pretty much standard on every 1911 made now.
Since 1928. Yeah, go ahead next.
The wide front and rear cocking serrations, yeah, that's pretty standard too. Not all of them have them, but this one happens to be carbon steel frame and slide. I was really hoping that when I saw it in the show notes, it was going to be a lightweight one with some sort of other style frame, but that's personal preference. It does have a red fiber optic front sight, which is nice. That's a nice touch. I like those. It's got a Novak style adjustable rear sight. I don't know if it adjusts up and down. I couldn't really find a good picture of it, but it's somewhat adjustable, if nothing else. It's got your standard skeletonized trigger because everybody does that.
Yeah.
It has a black oxide finish as opposed to like bluing or parkerizing or something like that, which they're all kind of similar, but it's got dark laminate grips, which means they're like match the gun.
Yeah.
and it comes with 2 8-round magazines, which I guess is better than one magazine. It has an extended safety, which I don't think it said. It said the extended beaver tail, but it's got an extended thumb safety, but it is not. Let's see, how do we say this?
Ambidextrous. Ambidextrous.
So there's that. It's got your standards, commander hammer. It looks like the beaver tail has a bump on it with checkering.
Yeah, it's got the speed bump.
Yeah. And it's got a flat mainspring housing.
It has all the things that everybody's told you for so long ago, for the last 20 years is necessary on a 1911. It has everything you want, everything you need, and it's priced right. So it's right in the ballpark, and it's just up to you. What do you want to have? Do you want to have a Smith & Wesson? Do you want to have a Springfield Armory? Do you want to have a Ruger? Do you want to have a Remington? They all give you about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But right now I found on slickguns.com that it actually has a mail-in rebate. Now, I don't know if this extends to all Remingtons, but right here on the R1 1911 5-inch 45, it has a, what's this mail-in rebate?
It's usually either 50 or 75, I think.
Yeah.
I remember that Cabela's, that was going on for a while. I don't know if it's the same rebate or if it's a new one, but I think it was either $50 or $75.
But
yeah,
which can make or break the deal. I mean, if you're looking at 2 comparative models, I mean, especially like when the Kimber two-tones are on sale, like they do sometimes, it's like, well, do I want a Kimber? And people get that in the back of their mind. They're like, ooh, Kimber, that must be luxury for some reason.
I don't know.
But I always just like, if you're looking at 1911s, go to the store and work the slides on all of them. How do you like the slides? Because Kimber's had rough slides where I feel like there was sand in the receiver when I picked up a Remington and it felt like it was on ball bearings. It was smooth. So it's kind of like, it might be that particular gun. It might be that lot, but I'm just try them out and figure out which one you like yourself. And if you're planning on carrying it, you might want to reassess your carry choices because 1911s are heavy. It wears down on you.
I carried a 1911 5-inch barrel. It's heavy. It is heavy. I don't care what you say. It's heavy.
It's heavy.
Now, I'm going to man up. Yeah, man up, Jim, whatever. It's heavy. And at the end of the day, I'm like, man, I hope nobody just no. I'll walk away from darn near everything. No.
I've done the same thing. Full-size steel, 1911, carried it, and yeah, by about 6 hours, you're like, why did I carry this thing?
Yeah, one trip to the bathroom, and you're like, dude, can I leave this? No, I know I can't leave it. I swear, I don't want to put it back on. And yes, the mail-in rebate is $75.
Okay.
Well, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that's a really good deal. I mean, that puts it competitive to another bracket of 1911s, which it might have just more features than what you're looking at. So yeah, I think they're good. I mean, making a 1911 that's subpar, it's really easy for people to notice that. So it's kind of hard to do it and get away with it, like unknowingly. Like, oh, you might have like 1 or 2 lemons or like a little bit of a QC issue, but it's kind of like someone making a bicycle and screwing it up. It's like the schematics are there. Like you can make a good one and a great one, but if you make a bad one, it's like, what did you do? Like, come on.
Well, yeah,
it's 100
your manufacturer's. Yeah, if you have your manufacturer's license in a CNC, you can download the full programs pretty much for free on the internet. So you could make yourself one from programs you just download. So anybody pretty much can make one, and then it goes to the finish and the extras they put on it, kind of like this one.
And the extras do make a difference. As you get older, that front day glow sight or high vis sight really does make a difference. And there's a difference between that and like high visibility paint, you know what I mean, on the front sight, because that high vis actually, the fiber optic actually collects light, and it's bright even in like as it gets to be evening a little bit. That thing pulls it in, because I was shooting a Sig Sauer Max Michel model, and it had a fiber optic, and that thing kind of glowed when it was getting darker. It still stood out well. So don't sleep on a fiber optic front sight. I mean, it really does look good. It's not just another feature that means nothing.
Yep. So we got the links in the show notes for that if you're interested. If you don't even know what a commander feels like, go try out the exact same pistol in a commander and a full size, and you should be able to, within 5 or 10 minutes, figure out what you prefer for your intent of whether you're going to shoot at the range. Some people like the 5 inches. If you're going to attempt to carry it or conceal it, usually that commander is a little bit nicer. That's why they call it the commander, because the usually officers, they didn't want a big old 5-inch barrel. They wanted something a little bit shorter. So next up, we got, last week we talked about that couch bunker, which got me looking around on their website, BedSafe, and I was like, oh, okay, that was a little bit of a bust. But I'm going to look around and see what else they offer that might be a little bit more interesting. And then I found this, the console bunker. This pretty much puts a gun safe right in your vehicle, which it's a lot of gun safe. And I'm not sure the specifics on how it's installed per your model of vehicle, but it is pretty awesome. You can obviously look at the pictures, and they've got an AR-15 in there. They've got some kind of holster attached to the lid, so that your pistol's there also. It obviously locks up. It looks like it's got a like a pneumatic arm on there to help keep it open.
Oh, don't forget
like a piston.
What's that? Yeah, piston.
Yeah, and I was going to say, don't forget, it looks like it's got an electronic lock too.
Mm.
So you can like put a switch in your, somewhere under your dash or something if you want. If you look at some of the pictures down below, it's got like wires running to it and to the slide for like the lock, so you can have quick access to it.
Yeah, some kind of solenoid.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. So the dimensions are 43 inches long by 14 inches wide by 13 inches tall. So I don't think you're going to be putting your 20-inch AR in here, but I'm guessing from the picture you'd put a 16-inch in here with the stock folded up. Obviously, the barrel is pointing forward. You're sitting in your vehicle pointing forward because it kind of slopes down into kind of your floorboard, and that's where your barrel sits. Looks like it's made in the USA. Shipping's about 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. It weighs less than 75 pounds empty.
less than.
Wow. So the mount utilizes your factory seat bolts with no drilling, is what they claim. The mount design is the industry standard in law enforcement. We're currently building the console bunker. That's a tongue twister. For all law enforcement vehicles, including all 2007 and newer American full-size trucks and SUVs. Other vehicles are available upon request. Please call for availability in these special cases. Wiring is very simple and can be performed by any competent car audio installer. What do you guys think?
Looks interesting.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Well, the one thing I noticed was the way they got the AR-15 installed in there. Don't look like you put a scope on it. It looks like it would have to be either an EOTech or some kind of a low slung or low riding optical system.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can say is if that electronic lock is the only thing it has, I don't know if I'd want to stick it in my car because they break in the car if they find the button. Even you could hide it the best anywhere. Now, for law enforcement, I can see, they usually have stuff like that, and they don't expect somebody to jump in and steal it. So,
Yeah.
My luck, when I need to get to it, the daggum battery would be dead in my car and the lock wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some of the police cruisers I've seen, like for their shotguns and their ARs, they have some sort of button that you push to unlock those. So it's kind of the same type of deal. It's just
I just want to know one
secure.
thing.
Go ahead.
Where's the cup holder go, man?
Yeah, right?
Oh yeah, they didn't know cup holder.
Yeah, I got no place to put my beer, man.
Oh, wow.
Soda?
Wait a minute. We at the Firearms Radio Network do not condone drinking and driving.
What's that about the views of the co-hosts are not necessarily the views of the Firearms Radio Network?
Yeah, I don't really know these guys. I mean, you could you could get a cup holder and install it inside the safe. So
great idea.
Get like a little cooler and keep your drinks cold.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really cool idea. You definitely have to take your center console out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at this. They got a shotgun in it too.
Yep. Yeah, they pretty much you have everything you ever wanted. They have a shotgun, a 1911, and an AR, all wedged in there, and it looks like they had a vest or armor or plate
all
carrier.
sorts of ammo.
Yeah.
Okay, in that picture, though, they've got the AR upside down, so you might be able to squeeze one in there with a scope on it.
Yeah. The pictures, they're not super close up. I mean, some of them are, but it doesn't give us, like, if there's a rest built in so that you can, keep your AR upright and secured. I mean, what if you go off-roading? You don't obviously want your optics and your guns bouncing around and getting off zero and whatnot. But I'd be interested to see what kind of internal accessories there are for keeping your stuff pointing in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the shotgun, and it looks like it's bracketed in on the shotgun. One of the pictures, like 12 out of 14 if you blow at the bottom. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's wedged in with some foam or something on each side of it.
Yeah.
And the 1911 is also.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just friction.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, yeah, now
yes.
on 1 of 14, it shows the AR with the Magpul furniture. It seems like there's some kind of bracket that comes out the side and kind of cups the stock underneath.
Yeah, and I guess you could just catch your magazine because they have the 1911 magazine just laying on top of a box of Winchester ammo, so don't go for a reload.
Put a rare earth magnet in there. You can put all the magazines you want.
Okay.
True.
Yeah. This is a little bit more classy than the guys that, and I think I think was it Chad that made fun of me when I put Molly seat covers on the show once.
Yes, that was me.
Okay, I said Molly again, Mole, whatever. No, I was right, Molly. So it's cool. It's classier than that. There's not a whole lot of function when you have it closed. It would be nice if it had, like some change and some cup holders on top. Some plastic molded pockets for your stuff, so it wasn't just a surface.
Duct tape and
you just have to be careful though, because if you had like a change holder, you put change in. As soon as you open the lid up, your change goes everywhere.
Yeah. And your drink.
Yeah.
That's the first defense right there. It was just to fire a change into somebody. I've seen safes, that are bent. If you've got a rear bench seat where you have to, lift the bench seat up, and then there's like a full-size safe underneath that, and that seems like a good idea in theory. But I guess you gotta have to put in perspective, what are you planning for? If you're driving the kids around from soccer practice and then you get attacked by the Foot Clan or the Taliban or something, kids get out of
If I get attacked by the Foot Clan, I'm just going to call Michelangelo and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
my man threw Foot Clan like it's no big deal.
Yeah. At least you can access it from the driver's seat, which I think is the most important thing, is you can be in the driver's seat and open it up and get to whatever you need to. Obviously, this is a good idea and good function if they're already doing it for law enforcement vehicles. If you're responding and you have to retreat back to your vehicle and retrieve your rifle because of an escalated situation, it's really easy to get to it that way. Is it even easier if you already have your AR-15 or your M4 like in a bracket vertically, like right in between your seats, like most cruisers have? But for civilians, do you guys think this is practical?
In most states, carrying your guns like that in your car is either frowned upon or illegal.
If you don't have a CCW permit?
Well, even if you do have a CCW permit, that it can be kind of illegal depending on the state you're in.
Right.
Very much so.
I would avoid driving through Jersey at all costs if you have this in your vehicle. Let's just get that disclaimer out.
I think if you have a piece of ammo, don't drive through Jersey.
No, just do this. Don't come here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay? Just don't. Yeah.
I don't know if for the normal person this is going to be something. The one
my
under the
philosophy for something like this would be a second use, something for a second use gun. Like I carry a pistol on me when I'm in my car. Something happens, I can go to get my pistol, I draw my pistol. If I get to the point where I can't use my pistol or I need to get something better, then you go to your car, you get your rifle out, and you can engage with your rifle. This wouldn't definitely be for a first draw or first use.
But the other thing with it too is, you could always shove an AR pistol in there because, then your concealed permit usually will count. It's a handgun.
Mm.
And truth be told, a gun isn't the only thing you can put in here. I mean, you can have first aid kit. You can have other things that you can store in your vehicle, and it's out of the way and it's kind of secure, but it's easy enough to get to, and it's not bouncing around the back. What is it? I'm looking at the measurements now. 43 inches long by 14 inches wide by 13 inches tall.
You could put a lot of camera equipment in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff. It can be storage for a lot of stuff.
A crock pot with some pulled pork.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't mess with Grandpa's pulled pork now. I mean, the only thing I really don't like about this is that frickin' piston locking system.
And it's hooked to the door locks.
Is it?
That's what it says.
Do what?
What the heck?
You people.
Well, you could hook it wherever you wanted.
Exactly. You could have it hooked to your emergency lights if you wanted to. I mean, obviously, you're going to be wanting to get into it in emergency, so why don't you just throw your flashers on and then that's what opens it up.
The console bunker is tied into factory door locks and has a timing mechanism that prevents unauthorized access.
I'm going to tie mine to my horn.
Oh, man. Sunday drivers are going to catch it around you, man.
Yeah. Or tied to something that I never use, like the CD player.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I was going to say something about this is actually another good idea for law enforcement is because a lot of them are going to the SUVs now as opposed to cars with trunks. So there's not really a place out of view they can store stuff. Like they throw it in the back, you could still walk, even though the windows are tinted, you can still look in and see what's there.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be a good idea for that too.
And even though when they close it, it does look fairly, I don't want to say normal, but it does look like it's standard factory equipment. It doesn't look too out of the ordinary,
Yes, set a drink on there and you're good to go.
Yeah. And get your cup holder. Get your cup holder and use a rare earth magnet to secure the cup down so you can open it and not spill your drink.
There you go. Get yourself one of those. Get one of the Bubba thermoses.
Or the something with a sippy cup. Or get one of those Yeti coolers, Yeti thermoses.
There you go.
Those were great.
I wouldn't mind something like this for the back of my truck, because I've got like a locking canopy, just for like, I guess that you could just use a regular toolbox and then retrofit it to hold your guns a little bit better. But
Ryan, they make a whole insert for your pickup that's like a foot tall, and it goes along the bed, and it like slides out. Drawers do, and you put guns
Oh
in it.
yeah, I've seen that. Problem is,
Yeah, that's what you need.
I got an '04 Tacoma, so I don't have this much console space in between the two seats. I'm sorry. Like, if you've got a passenger, only one person gets the armrest, or at least you're holding hands, one of the two. Yeah, I'm proud of you guys for not having a comment right after that. That was a slow pitch, and you guys just let it go
to
over the plate.
something like I'm never riding with you ever.
Well,
I just figured that'd be
just,
nice to you, Ryan.
I was hoping you weren't driving to the machine gun shoot because I mean I might need a ride.
Good times. So that's the products for the main or the new product section. Now we're gonna get into the main topic of reviews, and I'm gonna let Chad take priority this week and do his review, and I'm going to move my review to next week. I think next week I'll have the alien gear outside the waistband holster for review, and I will let Chad talk about his review this week.
Oh, sure, let me. Okay.
So, what do you got for us?
I have. It is called the Tripwire ambidextrous charging handle. It is made by Centercore, and they actually sent me this. I asked them if they would, but they did for review, and it's got a few cool features. I was kind of intrigued because they said parts of it are 3D printed, and I'm like, okay, how do you do a charging handle that's 3D printed? Well, I got it, and I saw exactly how they did it. What it is it's a charging handle that has no typical normal latch. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but what it is, well, I don't know if I can get a decent picture here on the screen, but it has no latch here. So when you pull it back, you have to overcome the little latch spring pressure. It just slides in and pulls out. I have the bolt locked back now, so it's easier. So there's that, and the little latch piece on it is the piece that is 3D printed. And I don't know what the heck they made this thing out of, but it hasn't worn. I even grabbed it with a pair of pliers to see how strong it was. I didn't want to break it, but it does that. So they say it's carbon-filled nylon, and they 3D print it. It's pin-driven in, and then it's got a spring that it rides against, and it just goes. Push it in, pull it out. It's kind of cool that way. I'm going to set this down now because the pictures on the Firearms Insider site are way better than probably anything you could see from my webcam. So all you have to do is pull it straight to unlock it. I tried to abuse this thing as best I could. Kept it open, locked the slide back, and then hit the lever, bolt release lever with it open, slammed forward, no problems there. Took it with it closed, beat the buttstock on the ground. It didn't unlatch, even bolt back or anything. So, used it. Probably been using it for a couple months. Put quite a few rounds through it. It's just as good as the day I got it. So the handle itself is made from aluminum, just your standard. It's extended, so I'll explain some more about that later. But I must say, it's a nice design. There's a few things that one might like better, like me, but besides that, I actually like not having to pull a latch. You use left hand, right hand, pull straight, use them both. Sticks out past a scope, so if you're using that, it's not really in the way. So I will go to the Firearms Insider 8 key points. The claim to fame: it's an ambidextrous extended AR charging handle, and there's no latch to manipulate like all the others. Either they move or you have to pull the latch before you can move the handle. So there's that. Target markets, anybody with an AR-15 that doesn't like the little tiny stock charging handle, which I think is about everybody. The features and benefits, it's extended. It's lightweight. It weighs in at really just over an ounce, but you put it on the scale, it's about an ounce. It's ambidextrous. It's made from 7075 T6 aluminum. It is hard coat anodized, just like everything else. The carbon-filled nylon 3D printed latch it has. It is, when I measured it, it's 2.52 inches wide total. So there's that. If you want other colors or finishes, you're out of luck. You're going to have to Cerakote it or Duracoat it or something. Black is it. There's a link. The Firearms blog did a review on it, so there's a link in there. I could not find what people were saying about it. I searched long and hard, just like I kind of searched forever trying to find somebody that sold it, and the only place I could really find was the manufacturer, which is Centercore, and it is $65 from them. I think it has free shipping, so need it now availability is pretty much you go to Centercore. And for our rating, the pros, I gave it its ambidextrous, it's extended, it's lightweight, really good quality machining. You guys can't see that, but they had it here. I liked that it was essentially latch-free and a straight pull design. It's kind of hard to explain, but I tried earlier, so that's what you get. The cons, theoretically, it will not fit AR-10s, so there is that. If you have one of those, you're kind of out of luck. And this is what I was going to explain. There's no option for diverting suppressor gas, which, like, some of them have a hood, some of them have some sort of seal. You know, there's various ways of kind of diverting it, so you still get gassed kind of like a normal charging handle, which not everybody does, so it's not a huge detraction from it. And so I gave this thing a rating of 8, which is great. And I guess if you want to check out the review, go to the firearmsinsider.tv and check it out. You guys got any questions?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a charging handle.
yep.
Well, actually, my thing is this. I bought the Bravo, what is it? The one from Bravo Company. Their charging handle, the Gas Buster, Dust Buster,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, I got it. Because I had to buy mine separately. I purchased an upper and I had to buy a separate charging handle. I was going to go for the regular GI charging handle. It's $15 because, I mean, that's what I that's what I trained with. So that's the one I know. Then I realized how much of a pain in the butt sometimes grabbing a charging handle was, so I got the medium-sized one. But this has the lack of moving parts, so it's simpler. You know what I mean? It's less likely to have something happen. But the crazy part is it's the same price as the Gas Buster.
Yeah. I mean, there's give and takes. They did tell me in an email, I think it's in the review, that some people don't like the strength it takes to pull it open. I didn't really find it was a big deal. And he said that they offer a lighter spring, so if you want a lighter spring, and I just figured that if you got a lighter spring for this latch, that there would be more chance of it opening when you slam it on the ground or butt stroke somebody.
But you said it's not popping loose, right? I mean, when you're
No, I didn't have any trouble with it, but I didn't get the light spring, so.
I mean, truthfully, it's in the same ballpark as everything else.
Yep.
And it gives you something else. Because a lot of guys, when they buy a more expensive AR or when they build an AR, they talk about, well, it's in the details. You know, mine is different than theirs because, well, this is one of those details. No one else has this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are a couple other companies that make this type of thing, but they do it differently, of course. I think Mega is coming out with one, and I think they use like a detent ball. But
Okay.
I like the extended latches because, like, if you see, there's a scope, but you can get to it without hitting the scope. Like if you had a small one, you're going to have trouble getting to the latch. And that's where the larger ones come in handy, I think. For me, anyway.
Yeah, I like larger ones too.
That's what she said.
Nice. Well, actually, when I purchased the one, I got the medium size because people go, oh, when I'm handling my AR, it's easier to grab the large one. I'm like, yeah, but if you're carrying your AR, you doing anything else with it, it's going to catch on your equipment. So you get to
Yeah.
a point that it's too big. Wow, can't believe I said
Yeah.
that. But
I was being nice.
it's truthfully, having something that you take to the range is one thing, but you really want to start running your gear to find out if you're going to use it in that capacity. You want to run it and see if it hangs up on everything around you. Even if you run 3-gun, you want to check it out and see if it works or whether it hangs up. And because this is just pressure and it's a little harder, I think it's fine. Because you rack a charging handle with purpose. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and, you can open it up and, slam the bolt forward and nothing. I mean, it's like normal.
There you go.
So, yeah, I liked it. I thought it would be worth the price.
Cool.
Sweet. So then on that note, while we're still talking about reviews, I actually have a little bit of an update on my last review that I did for the ScalarWorks LDM micro mount. I posted a picture on Instagram, and kind of to get people to look at the review a little bit more, and also an excuse to take a picture with my Lone Wolf G9, which is like a super awesome SBR now. But actually, I was contacted by them, and they read my review once I sent them the link, and they wanted to let me know that there's the reason why my Vortex is kind of a different co-witness is because the Vortex Spark 2 has a 1mm thicker base than the Aimpoint T1, which makes it 1mm higher, which makes the absolute co-witness seem more like a lower third. And they let me know that their next batch of mounts will be have a slightly shorter absolute height because they wanted to standardize it for the Aimpoint T2. So moving forward, all of those mounts will be sized for the T2, and they're just going to let their distributors, their dealer network, sell out of the current ones. And moving forward, they'll have the standard T2 height moving forward. So anyway, if you read that review and that kind of discouraged you from getting one because you use a Vortex Spark 2 because it's affordable and it works, great optic, I wanted to let you know that there's hope that you could, moving forward, it still work perfectly if you're after that absolute co-witness. If all you want is the lower third, because that's your preference, then no big deal. But I just wanted to. I'm updating my review as we speak to include that little detail, and I wanted to thank ScalarWorks for sending me that message and updating me on that.
Nice.
Yep, gotta love that. God, Instagram's awesome. I took a picture at the range with my my best man shooting my Tavor, and I took some nice pictures of him shooting the Tavor, and then I put some filters on it and posted it. And Vortex, because I tagged them because I had the Spitfire 3x scope on there. Vortex actually wanted to use the picture in their promotions, so they had me agree to some, release so that they could use it. So I was like, oh, that's awesome, but I'm not even in the photo. So I had to let my best friend know. I mean, he's been my friend since kindergarten. Be like, hey, man, you're famous. You're going to be a gun celebrity. Or I was just trying to jazz them up, and I thought that was kind of cool.
If it makes you feel any better, Ryan, years
You've had
ago,
that happen?
Not quite. I've had the Small Arms Review magazine, which I've had a picture of my friend shooting my submachine gun in there. And then And then my name was, of course, in there because I got like third place in one of the subgun matches that we used to have years ago. And I was like, two separate articles, where's the picture of me? Come on.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at you right now, and honestly, I can say that I'm glad they did not include a picture.
Well, I think I completely understand.
Yeah.
But that was when I was young and good looking. Okay.
Yeah. So
I was just young.
the moral of the story is to take good pictures and use your hashtags, because companies are really because that's really cheap. You know how expensive it is to plan a photo shoot and get a photographer, do all the post-production. When people are doing these, semi-professional shots on Instagram, doing the filters, and it's almost like ready for promotion. You just have to get, kind of permission or an agreement. I don't get paid for it, obviously. That was their agreement, but yeah, it's kind of cool. I just
by
wish
the way,
what's that?
here's another thing. When you put stuff on Instagram, why don't people put exactly what it is? And like they go to take a picture and then go directly to the hashtags. And it's like, okay, I have to read all these darn hashtags to maybe get a hint of what the hell that gun is. It's like, just put it in the description, dude.
I scroll through Instagram and all I see is this, I don't know, Simon Says Train or something.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
And he's got all these pictures with all these big name people, and I'm like, gee, I wonder who this guy is.
He's a big deal on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a legend in his own mind.
Does he have one of the shirts that says I'm kind of a big deal?
Actually, he has a shirt that says "I'm big in Japan" in 1-inch lettering. It's awesome. But yeah, man, put some descriptions on your darn pictures, man, because I'm looking, going, okay, that looks cool. What is it?
Yeah. And then usually if you, in a comment, ask, what is that? Usually if it's like an AR-15, and I'm like, well, what's that handguard? Because I don't know all my handguards off the top of my head. So, and then it's like a week later, you get a comment, and you're like, what? How do you forget the context? What was that comment to? It's an SLR handguard. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, that's right. So yeah, the Tech Gadget app, we actually have a product to talk about this week. It's just a rangefinder. It's Vortex's new rangefinder. Huh? You like that segue? Talking about Vortex on Instagram? Bam, Vortex rangefinder. That's professionalism. So they've released a new rangefinder this year. So it's available summer 2016. Hopefully you'll be able to get it in time for hunting season 2016 in the fall. So basically, they had the Ranger 1000, and they've upgraded it. Now they've got the Ranger 1500.
Are you sure they're not out yet?
I don't know. It says available summer 2016. It ain't quite summer yet.
Well, I know that.
Okay. But, so basically, they've through the advancements of rangefinder technology, they upgraded it so that it's able to accurately range targets out to 1,500 yards, as opposed to, I'm assuming the Ranger at 1,000 had a cap somewhere around 1,000 yards. So they basically buffed the range 500 yards. So it's got a primary horizontal component distance mode, providing angle compensation, distance reading, because they know that not everybody hunts in the Midwest where it's flat. So which is kind of nice, especially if you're like a combination, both rifle and archery. I don't know how accurate it is with the angle technology if you're shooting 50 yards uphill, if it'll assist you like some of the more archery-specific rangefinders. But when it comes to shooting rifles up and downhill, gravity works the same, so you need to be able to adjust for that. It's got 3 brightness settings coupled with fully multi-coated lenses for better light transmission and easy viewing. There's O-ring seals to keep it waterproof. It can be set to read in yards or meters if you're Canadian like TJ or you're American like the rest of us. Perfect for hunters, target shooters, bow hunters, and other sportsmen that need to know ranges, or golfing if it's the off season.
Yeah. Well, luckily TJ lives in Louisiana where there's not 1,500 straight yards of anything.
Yeah. Well, they measure everything by elbows and bushels, right?
I was gonna say, yeah, I looked a few places. Yes, they are available.
Oh, cool. Sure, it's
Looks like
15.
quite a few places. I just typed it in. Amazon has them. Midway has them.
Nice.
Optics Planet has them. And I thought they were because I actually know somebody that has one,
Oh, cool.
which is
So
cool because
go ahead.
I've talked to him about it, and I've seen pictures. He's ranged stuff, reflective targets at 1,760 yards or something, and he's measured them out, and they were just some of his normal steel targets. But he did say that if it's foggy and rainy, just like any rangefinder, good luck.
Yep, exactly. I mean, I've only reached the maximum, I think, of 900 yards with a loophole that it was like optimal conditions in the summer, sunlight glaring off of buildings across the river. So,
Yep.
but the width is 7.7 ounces. Did I say width? I meant weight.
Yes.
7.7 ounces. I caught myself there. Magnification is 6 power. Field of view at 1,000 yards is 315 feet. So it look, and I don't know if I mentioned the MSRP. I was going to, but I let you continue talking. The MSRP listed on Vortex's website is $599.
Good
So
Lord.
street price should be, obviously somewhere around the low fives, maybe high fours.
Yeah, it was high four. It was 475 to 500 is what I was seeing it for.
Yeah. It's got a pocket clip built into it. That's held on there by 3 screws. So if you wanted to put it in your breast pocket and you didn't have a lanyard on it, looks like it does have a lanyard hole. I know that's pretty popular. That's usually how I have it. But if you wanted extra security, if you have it in your breast pocket and you don't want it to flop out when you bend over to tie your boots or something, it can clip on to your pocket and stay in there that way. Or if you don't like the clip at all, you can just remove those 3 screws and take out the clip entirely. So,
yeah, I've never used one of these. I'd like to. I'd like to see how these things work.
Well, you don't need a rangefinder for shooting 7-yard pistol targets, Tony.
No. Yeah, but I look gangster on Instagram.
That's how far away the target is. That's how they work.
Yeah, they're nice to have, and I still can't. I mean, I'm a young buck, so what I'm about to say, you might scoff at me, but my first rangefinder was like a hand-me-down Bushnell unit, and it looked like the biggest set of binoculars you've ever seen. So it's amazing, just my age, that was probably like, I don't know, 20 years ago, like how small they've gotten. I know I'm still a young buck, and so you might not take that fully, but it's just amazing how small they've gotten and powerful compared to that freaking old Bushnell that I had with, the one eyepiece in the back and the one button, and it probably weighed about 3 pounds.
My first rangefinder was a 30-30 reticle.
There you go.
Clever.
Exactly. But I've watched them because, again, not from a hunting background. But I've read through all the magazines as a kid. That was the thing I did, get the catalogs and drool and read every description of everything. And yeah, they had the huge, pretty much binocular or monocular rangefinders. And now pretty much it's something a little bigger than a deck of cards, and it goes out to like 1,500 yards. It's crazy. I'm impressed by it, but I mean, I don't hunt. The only thing I can probably see using this for for like a long range precision rifle course or something.
Yeah. But because of its size, I mean, obviously it's most beneficial to someone that's going out hunting, usually with a bolt action rifle or something like that. But it's always nice to have one that's affordable. This might be a little bit out of the range for most beginner hunters. Usually they probably get something in the $200 to $300 range just to get them going, because you're not, there's like, you've got to hunt for a little bit, and obviously you get the rifle that's capable of hitting targets out to 1,200 yards. So this isn't something that you're the first time hunter is going to pick up because they just bought their brand new rifle from a pawn shop, and they're going to go blast something at 1,200 yards. This is something for I would call intermediate hunters that have very ambitious goals, because that's a long shot to take a poke at something. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
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 Varmint hunters.
Yeah.
I mean, really, wow.
So yep, that's the tech gadget for this week. So there's no listener feedback to relay to you guys. So now is when I hand the chair over to Tony to talk about what's going on next with Simon Says Train and Second is for Everyone.
Well, Simon Says Train actually has a class coming up Sunday on the 17th, NRA First Steps Pistol, breaking it back down and trying to get the last bit of that NRA class in before they go to blended learning, which is a totally different thing and is going to cost more money. So bargain at Simon Says Train on Sunday, but this will go up by then. The other thing is, the Second is for Everyone. The next event is June 9th. That's going to be the next one. I'm picking up a lot of swag and different things, and I'm contacting vendors and my whole thing at the machine gun shoot. And probably at the NRA show is going to be hustling, trying to get more, better, and newer things for the next, the Second is for Everyone diversity shoot at Gun for Hire Range in Woodland Park, New Jersey. If you don't belong to a 2A advocacy group in your local area, join one. This is going to be a very important election because pretty much they probably replace 2 or 3 Supreme Court justices this time around, and you really want to be in on the ground floor of this. Your local elections is probably the most important, but with this presidential election, who is ever president is going to be picking Supreme Court justices. And all of these cases that we've had that pretty much reinforce the fact that we have a right to bear arms, all that can be reversed. So get on it, even if you have to vote for a dude that you kind of sort of hate. Just remember, your 2A can be taken away. And once they start taking these rights away, you really don't get them back. It's really hard to reverse a lot of this stuff. They're not going to fall for the okie doke and have a sunset clause set into the next round of assault weapons bills. They're just not going to do it because they found that it didn't work last time. All right, so that's my little political rant. Get off your butt, join the local 2A group. Oh, yeah, and get some training. Go get some training if you've never had it. Before you buy your next gun or your 3rd AR or your 5th Glock, go get some training and learn how to use them. That's all. Yep. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
No problem, buddy. So that's it for the show. Send questions or comments to my new email address, gungearreview@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a review if you feel obliged to. We'd appreciate that. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. Be sure to visit the Firearms Insider website for reviews and industry coverage, firearmsinsider.tv. And see if you can make it out to the Stone Mountain Machine Gun Shoot in Pennsylvania and stop by, buy some patches, shoot some machine guns, and have a great time. Other than that, I'll catch you guys all in the next week.
See you guys next week.
Be good.
Bye.